Greetings, I'm Dr. Rachel Meixner, and I am going to show you how to create a lesson plan using my favorite tool, which is Magic School's Lesson Plan Generator. I have prepared by copying one of my students' IEP goals. So this is the goal that I'm going to use to create my lesson plan. In special education, we often have curriculum, but we also need to make sure we're meeting the needs as dictated by student IEPs. So we have to kind of find that sweet spot where the curriculum meets the individualized needs of the students in our group. So for today, I'm going to find the lesson planning tool. Here it is. It's just called Lesson Plan. And I'm going to imagine that I'm working with a third grade student today. I'm trying to be all across the board. And this student has a goal in the area of perspective taking for social communication. So perhaps I'm doing a social emotional learning lesson in this area. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in the goal. This goal is to improve social interaction skills where he's able to maintain the topic of the discussion. So he's considering the perspectives of others, and then he's able to explain the perspectives of everyone else involved. So additional criteria, I can mention students have disabilities related to communication and social skills, we could say. And then it asks me to align this to a standard. Rather than setting a standard, I can put in my learning target, which is I can communicate well with others and make social connections, because that is what we are hoping for our students. So with that, I can scroll down and hit generate, and we shall see what the lesson plan generator comes up with. Awesome. So it's covering both objectives. And let's just go through this really quickly. So now is where my human eye is so important, right? I need to review what the robot has created. It says they'll maintain the topic of conversation and consider perspectives. Let's see. They need to understand these key points. So this is what I'm actually going to be teaching, right? It looks like we're going to get into putting yourself in someone else's shoes, which is so important. I love this question. Can you think of a time someone didn't listen to you? How did you feel? Right? Discuss perspectives through a story that involves multiple characters and their viewpoints. Anticipate any misconceptions. They may think, staying on topic is only talking about one thing and no variation at all. Model conversations. Now, here's what I'm digging for. Not only do I want to make sure that I like what it generated, I also need to make sure I have all the materials I need. So for the independent practice where it says assign students to write a short dialogue between two characters, that might be incredibly challenging for students with communication difficulties. So what I might do instead is I would give them an example dialogue and then ask them to identify the two different perspectives. So for this guided practice and independent practice, what I'm realizing through this lesson plan is I am going to need to give students perhaps like a short reader's theater in which there is a story going on where there are differing perspectives and there's a dialogue, and so the students can analyze those different perspectives. So as soon as I realize there's a material that I'm going to need, I like to head on over to ChatGPT. I am constantly using Magic School and ChatGPT together because they really do go hand in hand. So here I am with a new chat in ChatGPT, and I am logged in. The reason for that is because it's completely fine for me to be logged in since I won't be using any student names. If I'm doing anything about a specific student, I tend to stay logged out so I don't have to worry about it being tied back to me. So now I'm going to go back to my lesson plan. And I'm going to go down to where I'm going to need some scenarios. So it says provide students with scenarios where they practice switching between topics appropriately. So I copied that line and I'm going to say I'm teaching a social skills lesson. Provide students with scenarios. So I pasted that. Now ChatGPT will generate situations. And here are the practice scenarios. The lunchtime chat. Two friends are talking about cafeteria food. How can we switch from food to our weekend plans? Number 2, the class project. How can we switch from talking about a classroom project to sports or hobbies? So as you can see, this lays it out really nicely. What I could do is print these out as task cards, and I could have students rotate and analyze these, or we could do this together as a class. I could print them as pass cards and hold them up to the student, pick a card, any card. They could pull a scenario and we could talk about each of those. It also gives some fun extension ideas. Role-playing games, give students a topic card. Awkward or awesome, that's hilarious. Peer feedback, right? So that is one thing that I will need for this lesson, and it was just generated by ChatGPT. Next, I see that it says assign students to write a short dialogue between two characters. It needs to have appropriate transitions, okay, between the topics. So I'm going to head back to ChatGPT after I copy that. I'm going to go into a new chat and I'm going to say, before I give an assignment, I need an example at a 3rd grade reading level with interesting characters. Write this as a story script. Then I'm going to paste in the assignment, hit enter, and ChatGPT will create a little dialogue that students can read. Looks like it created 2 characters, Lila and Jaden. Lila loves baseball, but Jaden loves solving mysteries, so there we go. And obviously my job now is to read it over, and it lays out the directions for the students. And what I need to do is make sure that this little dialogue is what I need, so we could read out loud the Lila and Jaden conversation. So you're getting the idea. I start with my lesson plan from Magic School. I copy pieces of it and head on over to ChatGPT to build the materials that I need. So now I have a little dialogue that students can practice, and then they can practice writing their own, if possible. Otherwise, I will continue to scaffold and we could write more together as a class. And I have these scenarios which I can print out and use for conversation. So it's tremendously powerful. It has helped me supplement the existing curriculum because I never have enough. I always need to find more that more accurately aligns to the student's goal. And remember, I use the student's goal as the prompt here, so I know that I'm specifically teaching to their individualized need in special education. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this saves you time so you can love and empower your students. Have a great day.